Hey guys, how we doing? My name is Sir Tanis and welcome to my very first Rome 2 online multiplayer replay. So, my faction is Pergamon. I have an ally over here. Where is he? Right here. I think it displays the name. No, so I'll do the names at the end. I thought it displayed his name. But I have two allies. One is Rome with me, and then my other ally over here is Rome, and he's deploying by himself and advancing by himself. Our opponents are the Nabateans and the Seclude. The Secludes. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit until we get I'm going to go ahead and make a cut until the ladders reach the wall. It's just my ladder's approaching and his ladder's approaching and some sieges. So I will see you guys back in a minute. Alright, welcome back guys. Oops, let me turn off fast forward. Welcome back. My ally over here. His name was like Iki something. He's over here with Rome with these armored legionnaires taking on some Nabatean noble swords. He's got more armored legionnaires up here. I think he has 4 units of armored legionnaires. So he's up here on the wall. He's got mostly Nabatean noble swords up here. Over on my side, this is the victory point right here for the city is called Petra. It's right here in the middle. So over here, I mostly have Seclude facing off against me and my ally, but there's really light defense. Only some Syrian archers. My ally goes ahead and gets up to the gate. I move my archers around. I'm conserved my ammo at this point. I was firing at these guys, as you can see by the dead on the wall. But my ally told me it was probably wiser to conserve my ammo, and you will see that in a minute. So I've gone ahead and opened this up. I have 2 units of pikes and some peltists and some swords moving up through it as my advance force. Over here on the walls, I have 2 hoplites and 1 Galatian sword moving up. There's no resistance up here, so we're just going to go ahead and move up. So there's nothing really over on this side. We just move up. Nothing starts till we advance to about this line right here. Once we advance to about here, the enemy meets us. So I'm going to go ahead and pay attention more to this fight. Even though there's not much more strategically going on, it's just my ally deploying his troops. And you get to see some armored legionnaires take on these noble swords. That's always a good sight. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to insert. We'll just watch this for a minute. Watch these guys hack away at these guys on the walls. So this is actually the first time I've seen these Nabateans as a faction. Even in the Grand Campaign, I'm not in their area. I don't know. I think they're in by Egypt. I haven't played the Egyptian campaign yet. But they look like they do pretty well. He puts up a really good fight against these Roman armored legionnaires, who I thought were almost practically indestructible. He's got more armored legionnaires coming through here, throwing their peel at these noble swords. A depleted unit of noble swords versus a depleted unit of armored legionnaires. And I think some of these guys are on the wall, or they're coming around from, because this is not 124 guys. So he's bringing in troops. He's got these Rakim Palace Guards. He's got a full unit of them. They're doing a nice charge against these armored legionnaires. These guys are a pretty wicked unit too, or a pretty nice defensive unit. So they're going to do all right against that. My ally is going ahead. He's sending in the war dogs. He opened up this gate right here. I think me and my other ally over here are the only ones that use a gate. I don't think he has a gate over here anyways. Yeah. So he lost the tower there. I think he holds fire or is out of ammo with his ballista, and then he's going to just start advancing his troops. He's got armored legionnaires over here. Praetorian Guard here. He's got auxiliary Syrian archers. You can only have 3 of those. And then Balearic Slingers. Praetorian Cav. But most of his units are the Praetorian Guard and the armored legionnaires. And I think he might have an Evocati cohort in there somewhere. Maybe that's my other Roman ally. So I'm going ahead. I'm advancing my troops through here. There's been a tiny skirmish right here with these Syrian heavy archers. We've taken them out. If you'll notice this right here, I don't notice him till later on in the battle, and neither does my opponent. but these armored desert cavalry from our opponent sneaking around the back. I don't think I'm going to notice them until they get way over here. Just because I was more focused on getting my troops inside the gate. I got these highly upgraded Galatian swords out here. And really for their cost, once you upgrade them, Galatian swords are not that bad at all. Their morale's decent. Their melee and melee defense stats are good. So, and then these Pick Peltist from Pergamon, they are excellent. They make really good sword infantry when they're done. So, as you can see, we got the Secludes forming up. He's got some thorax swords over here. And over here he has some thorax swords right here. Some hidden thorax swords. Syrian heavy archers. They got some Nabatean palace guards. And then right here, he's got like 2 or 3 units of silver shield pikemen. But he has one right here. And he has another one over here that's hidden. And those guys were like the bane of our existence. They were total matches for my regular pikemen and my Galatian swords. They overpowered them easily. So he threw his Praetorian Guard in the mix over here. He's got some more armored legionnaires coming in, and this fight's going to go on for pretty much the entire battle. Because this map is really just a couple big choke points, and they hold us there for pretty much the entire thing until somebody wins. So these thorax swords, a lot of people aren't big fans of them, but I think they're total matches for like Roman units and heavily armored and just heavily armored swordsmen in general. They are really good for their price. And like as you can see, my Galatian swords are not disciplined, and their men are. So these guys are really susceptible to rear attacks, fire, everything. But they start off with an okay morale, so they're doing okay. There's no engagements right now. My ally, he's trying to take this gate so he can move in some more forces. You see right here, and he's getting, he's got 41 Avocati cohort versus 153 thorax swordsmen. And believe it or not, we end up turning this fight around mostly because my ally sends up more Avocati cohort. And I just keep marching on with my highly upgraded hoplites and Galatian swords over on this flank. Now you might be wondering where my archers are. My archers, I've set them up back here, and then I went up for a nice cheeky like wall shots down at the main fight, but they had a unit of thorax swordsmen up there waiting for me. And you'll see what I do with those guys. I actually got this idea from this other YouTuber that I watch. I've been watching him for years, and he calls it shooting fish in a barrel, and that's what I'm going to be doing right now. So you can see I'm moving in my catapult. I am the only one of my allies that moves our artillery inside. I don't even think my one Roman ally over here has any artillery. Oh, nope, he does. He has some. I don't think he uses them at all, though. I don't know what good they do, actually. I can't remember if they do anything in the actual battle itself. So sorry I'm moving the camera around, and it's kind of like crazy how I'm moving it around. I just found that I get better frames if I move it slowly with my cursor as opposed to fast zooming. So over here the fight has started between these Rakim Royal Guards and my Galatian swords. My Galatian swords are not going to do well right here. They're going to do okay, but these guys, once they get into their hoplite wall or shield wall, I think it's just regular shield wall. Once they get into that, they pretty much control this fight. And as you can see, he's got his thorax swordsman back here just peppering off the guys who flank him. So back over here, you'll see I'm already starting to whittle at these guys. They were a full unit, now they're at 135 just from my arrows. My ally over here, he attempted to he thought he had a good way to make a break for their main camp, but he's going to end up getting sandwiched right here by some silver shield swordsmen and some Rakim Palace guards, and then he's fighting currently at some noble swords. And he's got his armored legionnaires pretty sandwiched. They're not going to hold on, but these Praetorian Guards are going to do excellent. So at this point in the battle, my ally was asking for help, and I was noticing that if he was holding a lot of the enemy forces at bay. So if we won this engagement somehow, we'd be able to win the battle entirely. It wouldn't really matter what went on over here. So I start moving troops over a little bit later, and my one ally, he just pushes. He doesn't try to send troops to go outside the walls or anything. So I got my pikemen coming in to fight his Silver Shield pikemen who have joined the fight. And that's going to be a pretty nasty engagement, actually. Because even though my pikes are highly upgraded, he's our Silver Shield pikeman. So over here, I'm just whittling down the enemy. My arrows and my javelins and such are not going to do much at first, but after a while, we're going to start dropping their health. And as you can see, we're going to take out like 2, maybe 3 guys a volley, and then they're going to start dropping. So you'll notice that's pretty much that's their strategy, is hold the line with these spears and then thorax swords behind them. That's what they've done at every choke point. I got my Galatian swords coming in here for a nice charge. These guys got javelins sticking out of their shields, and now they're getting shoved on by these tough Galatians. And Galatians are actually a Celtic tribe that moved over to the Middle East sometime in the BC time, or maybe in the Bronze Age. I can't remember. But they had inhabited the area for a couple hundred years at this point. I don't know what point this would be, because this is a random battle, but you know, they were a pretty good power over in the Middle East for a while. I don't know whatever happened, like if a nation formed out of them or whatever, I don't know. So back over here, my ally has lost that armored legionnaire that was in here. Yep, they're completely gone. And now he's just got his Praetorian Guard holding the line, and they are going to hold for a very long time. He's moving in more, but at this point I was messaging him, telling him to just stop throwing troops in and fight with what he has. So he still has his fight up here going, these noble swords versus these other armored legionnaires. If you go back over here, his thorax swordsmen are done. They're routing, they're done. I think I'm still shooting at them. And also at this point, I start sending troops to my ally. These Galatian swords actually got a quick volley off against these enemy cavalry right here, and they fought him for a little bit in that breach point I created. But they're going to go ahead and fight my enemy's artillery crew. I can't remember if they win or lose that fight. We'll be back to look at it. So what's good about this map for us, being that it's a 2-on-3 fight, is that their main choke point is right here. So they're going to be constantly worrying about that choke point. Whereas if it was up here deeper in the city, which I don't know why it's not, this is just a victory point. This would be an awesome area to defend. You could just like station some guys right here on these stairs, and you could hold the enemy for days. Because I don't think there's another, like, you can't use this gate. You can use this gate over here, but other than that, breaching the walls, you can't get to this area at all. And I think like this gate you can't, this wall you can't use. I don't think you can breach any of these walls with siege equipment. No, you can't. Just right here. And there's another gate. But enough of that. I'm going to go back over here to the main fight. My ally, he's got troops inside at this point. It's like red alert for him. He's asking for help because he's not going to gain any ground. Versus these silver shields and these palace guards and such, he won't gain an inch. Over time he will, but he's not gonna gain it fast. So over here I made the mistake of shooting my catapult, shooting poison rounds into the enemy, attempting to break them, but it ended up breaking my own troops. instead, who had suffered extreme casualties, as you can see already. So at that point, I had told my artillery to stop firing, and I think they were out of ammo anyway. I'm really sorry about that, guys. So I kind of go for a different approach. I decide I'm just going to shoot at the enemy, because I have moved all my reserves this way to go help my ally as fast as I can. 2 Galatian swords, heavily upgraded, and 2 hoplite units, very heavily upgraded into the gold chevrons. My general back here has 3 gold chevrons. He's an Agema spear. He is the only melee infantry unit I have over here. And I think he might actually be considered a peltist. I don't know. My ally over here, he's the last guy to go in. He holds back. He's just waiting for his main force, so I kind of get it. But at the same time, I wish he would have been helping me push right here, like maybe through a legionary unit up or something. That would have been really nice, as opposed to me using all my troops over here. So he doesn't deploy any pikes over here. So it actually is a pretty even fight between my hoplites and my Galatian swords, which are still alive in the mix. And I spoke too soon. Here come those silver shield pikemen, which they actually did not stick with any one lord during this time. During the War of the Doadachi, I think that's how you pronounce it. They switched kings pretty often, fighting for whoever paid them the most, or whoever controlled the most territory. So these thorax swords, they're just finishing off my pikes. My pikes are, ooh, that guy got flipped. And that guy's getting gutted in a corner. And his Rakim Palace Guard are just going to sit here. They're all bloodied up. They're waiting. They're not even in a good formation. He's got a single silver shield pikeman. He's just like, I will hold with you guys. So I'm moving forward. I got my Greek heavy onager crew. They're going to go as a distraction. They are out of ammo, and they're actually pretty heavily upgraded too, so they're not just going to charge in a break. But they're not going to do anything spectacular either. I moved in my more alive unit, a pick peltist. He's going to go in and support that fight. Oh, I am sorry, guys. Over here, I'm going to continue with my archers and my peltists, just peppering down these silver shield pikemen, these archers. I think I'm mostly going for the peltists or the pikemen because they are the threat right now. My pikemen I put in hoplite wall and put them in a defensive formation where I let my Galatian swords kind of just run ham. And what I was hoping is that they would slow down these silver shield pikemen, but they did not. These silver shields just slam into my, well, they walk into my hoplite wall and immediately start poking these guys to death. I have an archer unit. Hopefully they're out of ammo. They're up here in the mix. They're not going to do very well. But this thorax swordsman, they're the target that I switched to with my archers and my peltist. And as you can see, I shoot them up. This is all archer kills. Over here, my men are getting ready to charge in, my onager crew. At this point, he's down to 89 palace guards. So I got them in. I think I'm sending my peltist in for a melee charge. Yep. So what I do here is I pull them around this corner before the enemy thorax swords can get in here. And I'm going to have them wrap around these royal guards. And this is when my ally starts coming in with this massive Roman army. And at this point, it had reminded me of the scene in the show Spartacus, where the Thracian auxiliaries were asking where the Romans were, and then the Romans sound their horn and arrive just as the battle ends. But the battle's not ending. It's ending for my onager crew. They're not, yeah, that guy just got stabbed to pieces. They're not going to last very long. So my peltist crew, I actually rip them right through, and I'm going to go to the back of the thorax sword and silver shield swordsman. And they will not do anything, and I think at this point I realize my ally is breaking. And at that point I decide to turn around because those guys are not going to win that engagement. So, sorry ally, but I'm going to let him chase you down, and you can defend on the walls. And I think my troops, yep, my troops are in there now. I think I have a unit of swordsmen in the mix right now. Nope. But here they come, my Galatian swords, very exhausted. They're coming in to join this fight. And I think I actually have them hold off the general. And they actually survived the whole battle, I'm pretty sure. So our enemy, the Seclude, he stops and controls this. My ally is screaming for me to get troops on the walls to help him. But at that point, the unit I was going to put on the walls, the enemy's general comes in here, and I just think this is a good spot for him to get overexerted, because he's trying to wrap around my opponent, and then I'm trying to get to him as well. So I'm starting to move in my other Galatian swords and my heavily upgraded hoplites. Over here, these Syrian archers and Balearic slingers, I think they just start to pepper down. I don't know if he starts moving up the wall. And of course, as I say that, he starts moving up the wall. So, my Peltas, I did not. I pulled them all the way over here. They took some heavy casualties ripping. I'm sorry, guys. At some point, I stopped I ran out of time recording, and I don't realize when. So, my picked Peltas, I pulled them over here to these Silver Shield pikemen. And we destroy them through the frontal melee. My enemy shooting his archers at him, and then my rear attack. And we also hold off the enemy's relief force of these Syrian heavy archers, who came in to try and relieve their pikemen, but to no avail. Over here, if I had any units over here, they're dead. And now the Romans are just fighting these thorax swords and these Rakim Palace guards. His troops are getting shot at from the front, but that doesn't matter. They have those giant Roman shields. It's going to block most of that. Over here, our enemy has thrown in, where are they? Nabatean Thorax pikemen, and they're going to do very well against these Praetorian guards. They start to kill a lot of them really fast. And back here, he's actually holding off and throwing jabs because he fears that pike unit so much. Over here, my troops are starting to pour in. He has another unit of Nabatean Thorax pike and some noble swords, depleted unit of noble swords, and his general, who I was hoping to kill, but he put him over here for a morale buff. Because, like I said, their camp's right here. So he's going to start breaking my Galatian swords. I don't know if they actually break, but they waver. It's mostly my units over here fighting. I can't remember. Most of his units were right here or dead. He had lost a lot of units at this point. So there's no more troops outside the wall. It's just us pushing in. Right here, I have a really upgraded unit of Galatian swords. And he has some Evocati cohort in reserve. I think we each only hold one unit back in reserve. Besides his massive archer force that comes in late. But I think they come in just in time, because we push through here. We're starting to wrap around here, and pretty soon the enemy, I don't know what they have over here besides these archers, and they're just falling back. So one by one, enemy units start coming to light for us. And we've noticed that they have a nice, they have archers set up back here. There's another unit of Silver Shield swordsmen coming in that have already taken some losses. I don't know where they came from. He has some light cavalry inside. And then over on this side, there's more wavering from my side and his side. And his troops slowly but surely are starting to die, because me and my ally have captured this gate. So our opponent is starting to pull units into his center, because he sees that we've just opened the floodgates, and here we are coming. So he throws in this unit of Silver Shield swordsmen to fight my picked Peltas, and my picked Peltas do alright. Of course, I have them helped out by my heavily upgraded Agema Spears, who after being upgraded probably have around 60 attack. More than these Silver Shield swordsmen, apparently. Which I actually thought they were a pretty good unit, but I guess not. Over here, I pulled all my units over here, and I'm letting my ally go this way. So my units are going to push this way, Most of my ally units are going to go this way or this way. And on this side, we've pushed them back right here. Finally, we've won. These Praetorian Guards, and no rest or respite for them. They are going to keep pushing onto this Nabatean Thorax Pike phalanx that has these nice sharp stones right here. So I think my opponent, he just charges in. Right here, we're going to sandwich in these archers, who really have no choice but to stand their ground. I'm starting to throw in more troops at these Silver Shield Swordsmen, which are just falling fast to my Agema Spears and my Picked Peltast. Over on this side, we're starting to push into the center, or we're getting really confident at this point. I think we were even talking about how the battle is a cakewalk at this point. So over here, our enemy's general is making a nice stand with these pikemen, holding back my massive horde of Galatians and Greek hoplites. And I don't think at this point we had noticed how the enemy just kept pulling reserves out of nowhere. A fresh unit of Silver Shield pikemen, their third one at this point, just came out of nowhere, and we had no idea where he came from. Over on this side, my units are finally breaking these Nabatean pikes, because 49, less than 100 pikes is not enough to protect your flanks. I also had taken all my units off of formation attack, which allows them to wrap around. You can see my hoplites are starting to wrap around here, and that's how I defeated the pikes over here too, when it was the fight was back there. My ally has broken through his line and is charging his Evocati cohort into the mix. Once they get into the mix, those Silver Shields are done. My ally starts shooting his onager into the enemy's ranks over here, because we notice that the enemy has some nice Indian war elephants for us. Indian armored war elephants. Another unit of Silver Shield pikemen, another unit of Silver Shield swordsmen, a fresh unit of archers, and fresh unit of thorax pikes. So the Nabateans at this point, they did not have a lot. As you can see, he's falling back his general, who I think is dead at this point, honestly. I think he's just pulling back the unit. And these pikes, they get into a kind of a bad formation, but I give my guys a second to rest before I go charging in all crazy. We are in control of the town center. We're crushing these Silver Shield swordsmen, and we are really confident because we have still not even noticed these Indian war elephants. And at this point, I had noticed them. I think it was my ally over here, Iki. He was like, holy crap, we thought they were out of units. Because we were talking to the enemy team at this point too, and they were playing it really cool. They were like, oh yeah, you guys got us on the ropes and everything. And then they pull these pikes and these armored elephants out of nowhere, and we were just like, oh, what are we going to do? So these guys, I thought they had jabs. I was going to try and rush their elephants to get a javelin throw, but I was wrong. So I move on to my next strategy, which is retreat my hoplites and my Galatian swords with jabs up onto the walls and take this unit and hold them back. But because we control the tower, and a few of my guys had threw their jabs, we end up running amok these Indian war elephants, and I decide to pursue with my Galatian swords. But I actually charge on the pikeman unit, because I thought if I could get them out of formation, that'd be great. But then I saw that the pikes were forming up, and I tried to retreat, and it was really messy over there. Over here, I'm letting my troops rest a little bit. My opponent is facing off against these pikes. It's not going to be a fight he wins anytime soon. Over on this side, I just told my guys to walk around, not even noticing that there was another unit of Silver Shield pikemen here. And they cut through my guys pretty fast. And my allies Avocati cohort, he finally comes in to help support the engagement. Over here, these thorax swords, they have a really nice position on top of these beds. They're going to give them a really nice advantage over the tired Praetorian Guard and the also tired Avocati cohort. They are supported by two Syrian heavy archer units, which are going to accumulate a lot of kills. Over here, the pikemen have taken a lot of losses, and so have these archers to their own men. But as you can see, I've lost this Galatian unit. My ally is still holding back his general, and I think at this point I was telling him, because I was charging my hoplites, I figured this was the time to attack, and I told him to attack with his general once my men charge in there, because his general unit will actually fare pretty well against these armored elephants. And I decided that we need to keep this tower alive, so I pushed down my Galatian swords and my hoplites. So my opponent here is shooting down these thorax pikes right here with his arrows, getting quite a few good kills. He was engaging here with his infantry, but that's just not his engagement. He was going to win. Over on this side, the Indian armored elephants are almost dead. My unit of Galatian swords is returning, and we're going to try and sandwich. We're going to try and hold these Indian armored elephants, which are not running amok anymore, but just killing our own guys. Our opponent has pulled back his silver shield pikemen back to here. My opponent still has, or my ally still has not moved his general to come and support this fight. I think he's somewhat worried that he will lose whatever few forces he has left if he moves in his general. But really, between the two Romes, I don't know who is who. I just know that one of my Roman allies was not doing very much. So these light horsemen, they come around, they get a nice charge on my Galatian swords. And I thought I was going to help them out, but I guess not. I moved my general and what's left of my infantry over here for some reason. Getting up on the wall. Oh, I was going for a wall flank, because I realized that those elephants were going to stick around for a while. And they were just breaking my units. And I told my allies to throw everything they can against whatever pike units the enemy has. And I was going to flank around on the walls. And they both accepted that. So my Galatian swords are sitting around. They do not want to fight this depleted unit. I think they might have some jabs left. So I told them to just kind of hang tight. My ally, he's sending what's left of his Roman army over. His tired Romans have seen a lot of combat, and they will see even more. Over here, he's resorted to a point-blank shot. And he's got that Nabatean thorax pike wavering. Over here, the elephants are broken. The pikes are holding. My ally still did not move in his general. I don't think he ever did. I think he actually moved in this depleted Praetorian Guard as opposed to getting his general in there. So he's going to go ahead and bypass these pikes, it looks like. And I can't remember if I follow suit or if I go against the pikes. But it looks like I'm following suit. We do not want to fight their units head on. Even this 40 pikemen, we don't want to fight it head on. So they see what we're doing right here. They're going to pull back their pikes. Over here, I get fighting with the Bastion. But then I decided to just charge down on these silver shield swordsmen because they were coming down at me. They were coming up to me, so I figured I'd go down to them as well. And we draw some confusion. And I'd already found out that I could take these guys. So over here, my hoplites, I pull them out to flank these pikemen, which causes my opponent or my ally to move his units in. I think over here he mostly gets his guys on the wall. Whatever few guys I send down here die. And I was worried that one of them might be my general, because you'll notice my general's unit is right here. Nope. My general unit is somewhere here. Oh, where'd they go? Did I move my general? Well, my general's somewhere around here, guys. I'm not going to spend too much time looking for him. Over here. Yep, we're fighting these Syrian heavy archers with depleted units. Over here we got some pikemen fighting backwards against this Evocati cohort. Not sure what they can do. Over here we have some thorax swords beating this Evocati cohort. Not sure how. Maybe they're getting some melee or some archer fire in their rear. I don't know. Oh, here's my general. He's down here. I guess I'd gotten him down. They're silver shield swordsmen. He's now going to get surrounded, because as you can see, my guys are popping out of this door right here. So that's going to be the end of the Seclu general, I do believe. Over here, they are winning, but we start committing more troops over here, and their archers flee for their lives. Over here, he's got some more Syrian heavy archers trying to break our units, but I think it does more harm to the thorax swords. My ally is sending some Evocati cohort to take on those guys. There's really not a whole lot going on, guys. It's just scattered fights, and I still cannot. I don't know why these Evocati cohort are breaking to these thorax swords. But now they're not. They're stable. Maybe it's because they had reinforcements coming in, but the reinforcements, they're not coming, guys. Over here, the Seclu's general's down to 50 men. He's breaking. And he's wavering. The Bastion's wavering. They're wavering. They're wavering. I do believe this is the end of the fight, guys. And there we go. A costly enemy victory. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on my next time on my next video. So, really quick, here are the stats while we're in the loading screen. On my team, there was Ekirk Pat with 2,600 men. He lost 2,300 men, and he killed 1,465 men. I deployed 2,880 men. I lost 2,254 men, and I got the second most kills on my team with 1,352. Jamelomac. This is the guy that held back till the end, kind of. He deployed 2,760 guys. He lost 1,612 men, and he got 900 kills. So he had his onager, they survived the fight. His Evocati cohort, they all survived. He did lose a lot. It looks like he brought only Evocati cohort and Syrian archers. I brought regular archers, peltist, Galatian swords, which the Galatian swords really didn't do that bad. They didn't do fantastic, but my peltist actually did better, and that was mostly melee kills. My pikemen, they did absolutely nothing. Iki Pat with the most kills on our team. He brought a lot of Praetorian Guard, which probably saved him, and some armored, and a lot of armored legionnaires, which did really good. For our opponents, we had Master Jet Set, who deployed almost 3,000 troops with 2,920 troops. He lost almost all of them with 2,873 men, and he killed almost 10 men short of 2,000 with 1,990 kills. Sky the Fisherman, it was his ally. The Secludes with 2,504 troops, and he lost 2,234 troops, and he got 1,779 kills. His Silver Shield pikemen did really well. His Indian armored elephants, his Syrian heavy archers, all racking up tons of kills. Master Jesset's Rakim Palace Guard getting good kills. His Thorax pikes getting the most kills on his army. So, once again, thank you guys for